Welcome to Forum 360, your PBS channel. I'm Stephanie York, your host today. Thank you for joining us for a global outlook with a local view. Today we're talking to Ren Camacho, President and CEO of the Akron-Canton Airport. Ren is the latest addition to the airport's 2,700 acres of property, 2 intersecting runways, a 24-hour tower, and home to 4 carriers to 11 destinations. He follows Rick McQueen, who retired after 36 years of service to the airport. Ren's core responsibilities include leading a 50-member team of airport employees, strategic planning for the future of the airport, and directing all capital improvement projects. The Akron-Canton Airport prides itself in offering great customer service and affordable fares, and Ren has been hired to specifically ensure the airport remains a vital economic engine and a jewel in the crown of Northeast Ohio. Welcome, Ren, President and CEO of the Akron-Canton Airport.
Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks for having me.
Of course. If you would, could you take us back a little and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure, absolutely. Born and raised in New York City, so I'm a New York native. I studied engineering and obtained a bachelor and a master's in the civil engineering profession. After that, I landed a job with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey in the early 90s, 1993 to be exact, and worked with them for 14 years. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, as you may know, is a conglomerate of a company, of an entity, an organization that owns bridges, tunnels, port facilities, the World Trade Center complex, and then the airports. And over the 14 years that I worked with them, 5 of the 14 years I spent primarily at JFK Airport getting to know the ins and outs, the day-to-day operations of airports. So I continued to grow an affinity for aviation, and then after that, saw an opportunity in Ohio, Northeast Ohio. I have family here, and wanting to kind of get better acclimated to the environment and a fresh start, if you will, I wanted to move to Ohio and landed a job at Hopkins Airport as a design engineer, worked my way up through the ranks there over 11 years. We were able to get a lot of the Republican National Convention projects that the airport was responsible for. As some notable projects there. I rose to the level of deputy director under that tenure, and I saw, again, another opportunity to want to run my own airport. At that point, I had gained enough airport aviation experience to know that, hey, I can run an airport. I wanted to stay in Northeast Ohio. I have 3 children, and they want to grow and continue to prosper here in Northeast Ohio, and what better opportunity than what was presented at Akron-Canton Airport a couple of years ago. So excited about the opportunity and wanting to promote the airport moving forward.
So most recently you served as the Chief Planning and Engineering with the City of Cleveland's Department of Port Control, right? And they oversee the Cleveland-Hopkins International Airport, the Burke Lakefront Airport, and the Lakefront Harbors. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How did that role specifically prepare you for what you're doing now?
Well, again, to my earlier point, Stephanie, just having the 11 years and understanding how airports work for a city-run government, actually, airport, Hopkins Airport, Burke Lakefront Airport, under the purview of the city of Cleveland. So having the opportunity to work with city government, understand what some of the needs and wants of, for example, city council, the legislative branch of the city government want, is something that in my experience there and having enough knowledge of business development initiatives, air service initiatives, as well as day-to-day operations of the airport, kind of gave me that initial experience to say, hey, yes, I can do this. I can propel myself into the next phase of my career, which would be to hopefully run an airport at that point, let alone understanding that within a year and a half to 2 years that there would be an opportunity to present itself at Akron-Canton.
Yes. So what are your core responsibilities at the airport?
Well, day to day, it's just to ensure that the airport remains safe. Safety and security is first and foremost for any airport. To continue to promote this airport, as you mentioned in your opening, as a jewel of Northeast Ohio, that customer-friendly approach, offering those 11 destinations to not only the leisure market, but also the business traveler that wants to come through here, that the airport is safe, it's efficient, it's clean, you're in and out in minutes. The staff is friendly. We have a wonderful team that clears the runways during the winter and mows the grass during the summer months and keeps the airport what it needs to be safe and efficient and getting people to their destinations. So we're excited about that.
Speaking about safe and efficient, earlier this year there was a federal shutdown. government shutdown, how did that affect the airport and the safety, if it did?
Sure. Knock on wood, there was no impact to safety or security at the airport. We work very closely with the TSA, with the FAA up in the control tower, and we constantly kept in touch with them. They gave us continuous updates on where they were with the shutdown and staffing levels, and if folks were calling off, and there was nothing of the kind at Akron-Canton Airport. So we were very fortunate, and we have a very committed TSA staff, FAA staff that obviously wants to continue that promotion of customer service in their own regard to keep the airport open and safe.
So they came to work every day not knowing
Yes.
when they would actually be back on the payroll.
That's correct. They did
Wow.
that, the commitment to the airport. We had generous donations from the community offering food and other gifts and gift cards and things of that nature to the TSA and FAA
that's
during the
nice.
shutdown to lend the notion that the community is behind them with respect to the shutdown at that point.
That's good to know. What entities like boards and advisors support the Akron-Canton Airport?
Well, we report to an airport authority board, the Akron-Canton Regional Airport Authority, and they're in essence the folks that I report to. Very fortunate to work with them. I meet with them monthly to update them on key initiatives, key projects at the airport that are going on, as well as my participation in my role. To your earlier question about, why is the role important? It's obviously getting the word out into the community. As far as my participation with the Greater Akron Chamber, the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce, Stark Economic Development Board, as well as the Convention Visitor Bureaus, both in Akron and Visit Canton, down in Canton there, that it's important to get the message out that we are, again, that jewel, that key community asset. It's not Ren Camacho's airport, it's the community's airport, it's Stephanie's airport, it's everyone's airport.
Sure.
To propel us to the future, we need to get that message out to ensure that we have a viable future moving forward.
And how many employees do you have?
We have just under 50, 48 to be exact.
Okay.
And obviously we have them in key positions, operations and the safety and security. And we have contracts with Summit County Sheriff's Department, for example, to maintain a secure and safe facility that coordinates with the TSA on day-to-day law enforcement issues as they arise. We continue to have, again, our maintenance staff is kind of the bread and butter. They do the day-to-day, if you will, grunt work. They
Sure.
really get the job done from, cleaning the floors, cleaning the restrooms, to keeping our runways safe and secure at all times of the year. So kudos to them for what they do.
Which is really important. I mean, I have to be honest, I don't go to the airport often because I don't travel much.
Yeah.
I wish I did. But the few times I've been there, it has been so easy to navigate, to park,
Yes.
and to go in, and the what do you call them, are close by.
The ticketing level, the
Everything's
security
close
screening,
by.
everything is close by.
Everything's close by.
And we
The
can,
gates are close by.
Yes.
Like if you have to go from one gate to another, I mean, you're talking, a 3-minute walk versus I've done that at other airports where I have to take trams
Sure.
to other parts of the airport.
Sure.
I mean, so it's really compact and
Sure.
and nice.
Sure.
So customer service is a huge part of your responsibilities. I mean, if the customer isn't happy, they're going to go somewhere else to fly. So what types of things are in your control with customer service, and what types of things are not in your control?
So we have a lot of initiatives. That's our first and foremost priority is customer service, is to make sure from the parking lot to the gate is as seamless an experience for the passenger, for the customer, for our guest as possible. We have covered parking canopies that we implemented. It was the #1 requested amenity that customers wanted a couple of years ago. So that's an amenity at our short-term parking area. We provided that. We've redone our ticketing area. So it's newer newer floors, newer ticket counters, higher ceilings to allow more natural light in, and LED lights. So it provides that warm, natural feel coming in. We have other amenities such as free Wi-Fi, which has been asked for, more plugins at the gates. We also have, and again, this is part of our gate modernization project, which is upcoming, underway now, but will be finished in about a year or so. Additional space for the plugins, but also moving our mother's room, our executive lounge that's currently in the older section of the terminal to provide those amenities, as well as concessions and the typical things that customers expect and deserve that come through here.
So what things are not in your control that you always hear about?
Usually issues tied to airlines. A lot of sometimes if there's an airline flight that's delayed, for example, they come in late, and there's usually the requests that we get or some of the online complaints we may receive are about an airline or specific to that. It might be an experience someone had through a screening area with the TSA. That's been less and far in between. It's more an airline issue. Some aircraft's arriving late, or
Sure.
I just missed my flight, or they get to the counter and have additional bag fees that might be cited to them.
And that's not part of your.
No, that's an airline issue, and
responsibility.
we do everything we can on our website and working with our airline partners. We meet with them monthly to say, hey, these are some of the issues that our customers have experienced. Let's try to get ahead of these issues in the future to prevent these types of challenges from coming forward in the
Right,
future.
because you hear about them first,
That's
probably.
correct. Myself and the staff and social
Yeah.
media, correct.
So what are the things you think Akron-Canton does particularly well?
Again, I think it's having that friendly face. I think it's a small airport with big airport amenities. We have the free Wi-Fi. We have we're working on the gate modernization project. Airports are first and last impressions that folks have coming into an area, to a
Right.
region. So we want to make sure that impression is lasting and impressionable for those customers. So having the friendliness, if you will, the cleanliness that we have through our restrooms, through our entire terminal complex. Again, kudos to our staff. They do a phenomenal job at keeping the airport clean and friendly. That extends now, has been since I've been here at the position CEO with TSA staff, the concessions folks. Our sky caps do a nice job of getting folks in and to the ticket counter and
Sky what?
Sky caps. I'm sorry.
Caps?
Sky caps.
What are
Yes,
those?
those are the porters, the
Okay.
folks that assist folks coming off that are departing
Okay.
with luggage
I
or
didn't know they had a name,
wheelchairs.
like-
Yes, sky caps. Yeah. So they assist. They're hired by the airlines, but they're an extension of our staff as well, and they make sure that customers get to the gates, and whether through screening
Sure.
or if they're handicapped, if you will, or physically challenged, to the gates in a safe and secure manner.
Nice. What do you think Akron-Canton can improve on?
Well, right now it's getting more air service, right? That's part of the
Sure.
reason I'm here, is to acquire more air service. We have the 11 destinations, and we love to hear where people want to fly and where they want to fly to, why they want to fly to certain destinations. We continue to collect that information to make our case to the airlines. The airlines, in order for us to continue to have conversations with our incumbent carriers, we have United, Delta, Spirit, and American. As our incumbent carriers, that not only do we say thank you to them and have conversations with them at industry conferences or headquarter meetings with them, but also to provide them with information that the community is saying, hey, we have a certain need to a certain market, and we look to help promote that. So that's one of the challenges, I think, air service, and then making sure we're positioning ourselves for the future. So we have the gate modernization project that's underway.
Right.
It's a $34 million project. It's probably
It's on
something
my
you're
list.
on your agenda,
Yeah,
right?
so let's hear about that. Let's
Please.
skip to it. I want to hear
Yes.
what this gate modernization project
So
is.
that's the perfect segue, Stephanie. It's a project that positions us for the future. You talked about the challenge. So in order for airlines to have information, whether it's information we have about where the public wants to fly, they have that, right? And okay, that's great, but what amenities at the actual facility will you be providing for us once we get there? So the gate
Right.
modernization project does just that. It replaces gates that are from the 1960s that are outdated, small gate hold areas, smaller restrooms, a kind of a claustrophobic feel to those areas. It replaces that. If you've ever flown out of Delta and American, out of our existing facility, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to for those folks that are listening in. The improvements will be in our newer area where you fly from Spirit or United up on the second level, where that'll extend out and add basically that same feel. It's higher ceilings, more natural light. We'll add the free Wi-Fi, the additional plugins, more concessions, terrazzo flooring, and more seating areas, of course. And then we're actually adding what's there now. There are about 3 gates there now. We'll add an additional 2 gates, so we'll have a total of 9 gates when we're all said and done. We have 9 gates today, but only the ability to park 7 aircraft at any given time.
Okay.
And not all of those gates are jet bridged. So when this project is all said and done, we'll have 9 gates, all jet bridged, so no one's having to walk out into the elements,
Sure.
as some gates currently have. And we have the ability to expand to 11 gates. So again, that's positioning us not only for the current demand, so we remain competitive with the current market, the current way that airlines operate, but also if they decide we look at either an existing carrier or a new carrier that wants to come in, we can add 2 additional gates to a total of 11. So we're, again, positioning ourselves for that future growth. And that's what businesses want to see here. We have a lot of businesses that want to travel out of here, and knowing that we have a gate project like this, knowing that we're having conversations with the airlines about where they want to travel to, business and leisure, that it's positioning us for that future growth. Again, it stems back to that first and last impression, that customer service amenity, that friendly atmosphere. It's that making sure that customers get what they deserve.
Right. I want to remind our viewers and those who may have joined late that we are here with Ren Camacho, President and CEO of the Akron-Canton Airport, and we are discussing all aspects of the airport, from its employees to parking to what's next on the horizon. So, we talked about expanding destinations. Where do people want to go? What's the next destination? What is on your wish list of destinations?
We talk to both the leisure and the business travelers, of course, and they want to go all over, really. It's where folks want to fly to certain markets, whether it's Florida, whether it's other destinations in the Midwest and out west, the West Coast, even the Texas market, for example. We've had conversations about airlines and businesses and the leisure traveling public about such destinations right now. But we continue to have the dialogue with the airlines.
You're not going to tell me,
They're not giving
are
us
you?
specifics. The airlines aren't giving us specifics either. So we just have to make sure we give them the right information at the right time to say, yes, this is a logical, this particular route makes sense from a perspective that they're going to be profitable, and the businesses will flourish as well.
Okay, so you have 4 carriers. You have American, Delta, Spirit, and United. I know you would like to get some more. How many more could it hold?
We can hold at least another, say, 3 to 4 carriers, if you will. It all depends on, and that's part of the reason we're positioning ourselves today for air service with the gate modernization project. So the ability to have 9 jet bridge gates, you can convert some of those gates to what they call common use gates. So it's not just dedicated to one airline. Depending on airline schedules, one airline comes in, they leave, another airline comes in, they leave based on time of day, day of week. So the 9 gates are right size for us now, and part of the reason we're going with 9, not 11 initially, is we want to be fiscally responsive with, obviously with what we're doing with the amount of funds that we're spending on the project, but also to be able to position us that if we had to get to 11 gates, that we can do so.
That's great, and it's good to know that you can expand past 1 or 2 more. And let's hope that we have a flood of airlines that want to come in, right?
That's the goal. Absolutely.
That's the goal.
Yes.
That's the goal. So, what amenities, food and stuff like food, let's say, do you have there right now? Because everyone likes a good,
we offer,
especially if there's a delay or something.
Right. No, absolutely. We offer pre-security and post-security concessions. So the concessions that we have up front are. We have a Subway restaurant, a local bar, and then a grill if you want a cheeseburger or a hot dog or something like that, which offers coffee as well. Obviously, if you're flying out in the morning, you may want that cup of coffee. Both pre-security and then post-security, we have a Cinnabon that's post-security, as well as an Arby's and a couple of Great Lakes breweries, as well as a marketplace to buy a T-shirt or a mug or maybe some Gervasi Hawaiian products, local products as well. So it's pretty neat to have those types of amenities.
Akron rubber duck gear?
Not yet, but that's what we're talking. Yes, we continue to talk to the local entities about the potential partnerships with concessions. So stay tuned for that.
Okay. I'd like to switch gears for a minute and talk about air service generally. How has air service changed over the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, it's been quite dramatic, Stephanie. What's been happening is a lot of the airline industry has consolidated. So you've had a lot of the mergers. It really affected our airport when AirTran, which was flourishing in the early 2011, 2012 timeframe, going gangbusters with number of passengers coming through here. And once they merged with Southwest, that was one key merger. Southwest took over a lot of the markets that AirTran flew to, and kind of simulated that same leisure business traveler mindset with the types of aircraft and destinations that they flew to. That started again with Southwest, and then the introduction of the ultra low cost carriers, the Spirits, the JetBlue, not the JetBlues, the Spirits, Frontiers, and Allegiants, wanting to get more acclimated into all of the industry markets. That was a huge hit when it came to regional-sized airports like ourselves. So it was not only a consolidation of airlines, but those airlines started to focus on the major hub airports. So whether it was Hopkins Airport at the time, whether it's O'Hare and DFW and JFK, a lot of the airports not only consolidated, but they, their mindset, their business model, if you will, was focusing on those larger hub airports. So who did that affect the most was regional airports like Akron-Canton.
Right.
That's the challenge, one of the challenges, as I mentioned earlier, with air service that we continue to look to promote in terms of talking to other airlines and making sure that we're viable for the future. And again, the gate modernization project positions us for that future growth. But to get back to that, I think the key issues, consolidation, all of the airlines, whether it's the ultra lows and even some of the larger, what they call the legacy carriers, are focusing a lot of their efforts and profitability, if you will, at the large hub airports. And that's a strain to the regional airports like us. So it's how do we position ourselves for that future, having these amenities, making sure our business and leisure communities come together and give us information to help make a case for air service.
I'll tell you though, between the large hub and the regional airport, I mean, nothing beats the convenience of a regional airport.
That's correct.
The parking, again, you can get in and out really quickly.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we are who we are. It's that small airport with big airport amenities, car rental facilities right across the street. You can grab an Uber or Lyft and get dropped off at the curb. You have the short-term parking, which is now covered. Part of it's covered, which is again right across the street.
Right, and covered parking is really important. Northeast Ohio with the elements that we have. It's what? How many days into spring and we have snow?
Yes.
Several inches of it, actually.
That's right. And, shuttle service from the longer, the more remote parking lots. So again, it's just those amenities that our customers deserve to provide that seamless experience between getting through the parking lot and to the gate.
So economic development is crucial to the success of the Akron-Canton Airport and to the region, really. The more our region grows and prospers, the more people will travel, and the bigger your customer base. So what are you doing? What is Akron-Canton doing to help grow the economic base of our region?
So we are, my involvement with various chambers of commerce, the Greater Akron Chamber, the local economic development boards, the convention and visitor bureaus, is in essence to help promote that notion that the airport's a key community asset. Again, it's that first and last impression that folks have. It's a catalyst for economic development in the region. Just a couple of years ago, we created over 3,000 jobs, over $500 million in economic impact to the region.
Wow.
So we know who we are. We just need the community to continue to support us by picking the destinations that we currently have. By doing that, by supporting the service we have, it allows us to promote ourselves economically by acquiring additional air service. It's sort of a chicken and egg thing, right? You have to support the service we have in order for us to grow. It's hard to get the message out, and that's part of my job with these, in the chambers and the economic development boards, and any opportunity I get to make a presentation in front of a chamber or a morning buzz or something like that, I'm going to, and even obviously this show, is to get the message out that in order for us to grow, please support the current service we have that allows the economic vitality of the region to grow, because folks are coming in. You need to travel more through CAK.
Well, yeah, that goes unsaid. I mean, if I travel more, it's going to be through there. It's just so easy. It's that easy. Correct. But I just need to travel more. So I have to tell my husband that you said I have to travel more.
That's correct.
I like that. He'll like that. So what can we expect to see from Akron-Canton in the coming years with respect to program, service, and facility? We talked about the modernization program, development. What else? Yeah,
we're looking at a number of things, Stephanie. So part of what I'm implementing is a 5-year strategic plan, and that includes an initial SWOT analysis from staff, from every employee, all the way through management staff, to get their input on what they see as those strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats to the organization, and getting that input and then feeding it up through the different management divisions of the organization to help promote what are some of those key areas for strategic growth into the future. So whether it's operations, IT, we need additional Wi-Fi in these additional areas, we need additional firefighting equipment and training. Maybe there's another piece of snow equipment that would help make our airfield that much safer. Whatever those amenities and facilities and initiatives are, that we have that as part of this 5-year plan to keep us, again, moving forward. And obviously there's a financial impact to that, and
Sure.
the thought is to go in front of the airport board and obviously make recommendations on how we move forward. So that's one initiative. And then at the physical facility, we definitely have to have new concessions. We're talking about upgrading our concessions right now. We're talking about some improvements at some point down the line with our baggage claim area, which if you were to walk into our facility, look to the right and look at our new ticketing area, and then look to the left, over at our baggage claim area, you can see it's somewhat dated and needs a refresh, if you will. So we're making some modest improvements with some paint and light and new lighting, and you'd be surprised what a little bit of paint and some lighting can do.
Well, I look forward to seeing all the new
Yes.
things coming,
Thank
and
you.
I will get to travel more, and I will come to the Akron-Canton Airport, and I will check it out.
I appreciate that.
So thank you for joining us on Forum 360 on Fusion, your PBS channel, generously sponsored by the Knight and Akron Community Foundations, as well as the Jewish Community Board of Akron and others. Today we talked with Ren Camacho, Akron-Canton Airport's new president and CEO. The Akron-Canton Airport prides itself in offering great customer service and affordable fares, and anyone who has flown into or out of this airport can attest to the ease of parking, the close gates, the ample places to grab a bite to eat, and the friendly staff. It's hard to believe that more customer-centric projects are coming to the airport, each designed to make this already customer-friendly airport even better. And as we learned, all this activity will take place under the supervision of Ren Camacho, who has been hired to specifically ensure the airport remains a vital economic engine and a jewel in the crown of Northeast Ohio. Thank you, Ren, for joining us today on Forum 360. We certainly are glad to have you in Northeast Ohio leading our Akron-Canton Airport.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Forum 360 is brought to you by John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, the Akron Community Foundation, Hudson Community Television, the Rubber City Radio Group, Shaw Jewish Community Center of Akron, Blue Green, Electric Impulse Communications, and Forum 360 supporters.